The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Hey, what's going on, guys? aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2018 career mode here. Part number 10 today for the British Grand Prix, my home Grand Prix, so hopefully it can be a good episode here today. But if you have missed the previous episode at the Austrian Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one here. And getting into things, our weight reduction has been added to the car, so we can continue on. You can see how far we're now going down that R&D tree. So the next one along will be a minor, and then we get to a major, and then we're looking at an ultimate maybe. So we have to cross the bridge once we get there, but in time we're going to really dig deep into the chassis department of this car. But in the meantime, we've defeated Carlos Sainz in our rivalry. Obviously we have a permanent one with our teammate, but it's time to decide a brand new rival. Now we have a lot of new rivals to pick from due to the fact that we've just done more races. Of course, I picked Sainz way back in episode 3 or 4 was it, and obviously you just don't know then, whereas now we've got a lot of drivers to pick from. We've still got some of the old ones like Hartley and stuff like that, but I'm going to go for Esteban Ocon because it just seems like the logical decision. He's going to get me the max respect earned, 20 respect points there, but also at the same time he's probably one of the easier drivers to defeat in that rivalry. So you could say I'm just playing the game, but, in the end of the day, it is a video game. So, realistically, probably not the actual realistic option of choosing Ocon. But for the game's sake, it's going to be, should be, in theory. Here goes me jinxing it, probably. Now, Ocon just becomes an absolute rocket ship of a driver. But it should be an easy victory over him over the next couple of races. And it should be an easy 20 respect points there for us personally. But enough of that. Let's dive straight into practice then for the British Grand Prix.
Welcome to Silverstone, home of Formula One racing in Great Britain, where shortly we're expecting the cars to appear for today's practice session. Anthony Davidson, you've driven this circuit more than a few times in your career, and you've been around long enough to remember the pre-wing layout as well. But how do you like Silverstone in its current guise?
Well, the old circuit was a lot of fun, of course, but I do like the current layout. The reprofiled Abbey is faster than it used to be, and I always felt it was missing a sort of slow technical section. And now the corners up at Village and the Loop gives us that. So yeah, I'm a fan, and on top of that, I think it's created some more overtaking opportunities.
So straight to free practice, and I can confirm categorically that the super hard tyres, the blue wall new super hard tyres, are horrendous on this game. No grip, no temperature out the box. Definitely want to avoid that for the race at all costs, in my opinion. At least for me, and in the Haas, it just didn't click. No grip. You want to feel like the tyres are going to grip in within a lap or two. They just did not. They're probably going to take a good 6 laps to already warm up in the race, so we avoid those. Eventually, we do get to grips with them, and I'm able to run around after, like I say, about 7 laps, and we're able to do the practice programs, and we're going to go straight into qualifying then, and hopefully avoid that tyre completely.
It's time once again then for qualifying here at Silverstone on what we're hoping will be a tight contest for pole position. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
Q1 in front of the home fans. We are on the medium tyre, so we're not going to go in the fastest tyre available quite yet. We're going to try and see if we can make it into Q2. Big lockup, though, as we go into Village, so that's not going to be too great. But to be honest, we didn't really scrub off too much speed there, to be honest, so it wasn't too bad. As we go now down towards Stowe, DRS open there. I felt like on this year's game in 2018, you have to be a lot more patient with the turn-in and just the general aggressiveness around Silverstone. Like 2017, it was kind of more of an attacking approach. You really attack the circuit. Whereas, at least for me personally, in the Haas here, in career mode, I felt like I had to kind of tiptoe around Silverstone and had to be patient with the car and let the car and the track just do its thing. I didn't have to really attack it too much, and that's the way to kind of get the lap time out of it. And we do eventually get into Q2 by the skin of our teeth there on the medium tyres, but you'll see what I mean as we go into Q2 then on soft tyres. A little bit more delicate into Village and just generally around the corners. You can see, I don't know about you guys, but for me, even just watching this back, it looks a bit more pedestrian-like than it used to be on 2017, which, I don't know, might be a good thing. I mean, it's also going to bode well for us maybe in the race in terms of tyre saving. Although I say that, going easy in the last corner, I definitely attacked it a bit too much, and we go across the line in absolute style, and we do get the time there But unfortunately, remember, I have to start the race on those tyres. So I locked up majorly and probably did a denter on the front left especially. So that's going to be a little bit worrying. We'll see how the tyre wear is going to be at the start of this race. Not ideal, but I did not go out for another run because I didn't have time. So although it was quite funny and kind of, you know, finish the lap off with style, yeah, not ideal for the tyres I'm going to be starting the race with. But we'll deal with that when we get there. And so our focus now moves into Q3, the top 10 shootout here at the moment. Raikkonen going fastest in the session, going a little bit deep into the village section here. But on our first final lap, we have 2 sets of tyres available to use in this top 10. So we've gone a little bit earlier in the session to give us enough time then to set a second lap time. So going towards now the old turn 1 cops, nearly flat out, I would say, in the Haas. Not quite there. The top 3 teams probably definitely flat. But you can see that I try to go flat and I've gone wide completely off circuit and lost a bit of time on the curbing. And so I lift off. I think we just need to abandon the lap. We need to try again because I lost too much time on the curbing there. This year's game, with the way the curbing and the physics system is on the suspension, you do genuinely lose a decent amount of time, especially on those kind of curves where the curb on the exit of that Copse corner is so big and is big enough where the car starts to ride on the curb a little bit, and you can actually feel it, especially if you've got a wheel with force feedback. You can feel it in the force feedback that you're losing some time as the car kind of lifts up on its wooden plank underneath the actual car itself. So not ideal first sector in village there, locked up, but this time lifting off a tad into Copse, and this time able to take it okay. And now we go through Maggots and Beckett's there as flat out as possible, then do a lot of engine braking as we go into Beckett's through the right-hander and then onto the back straight towards Stowe. But yeah, lost a bit of time in village for sure with that lock-up. Once again, that right-hander corner has been causing me some tricky stuff here so far in practice and quali. But now through Stowe, maximum commitment there into the apex, 4th gear momentarily up into 5th. A little bit of an extension there on the exit, but then down into the tricky brake zone of the chicane. Left and then right, you got the curbing on the middle and onto the exit as well to try and stop you from going over the curbs. Nice and easy, unlike Q2, but across the line, and it's only P8. To say that, though, I actually didn't mention it, but despite our little theatrical spin, Magnussen actually got knocked out in Q2 anyway. So, to be honest, I can't be too disheartened by that. I reckon maybe Renault have brought upgrades for this weekend because they're both looking really good. They both out-qualified Alonso there. So, actually, I can't be too disheartened there. P8 just between the Renaults. I'll take that because it looks like they do have upgrades. So, let's try and see what we can do in the race then with those very iffy first set of soft tyres then, shall we?
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such as the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones on the Wellington and Hangar straights. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Sergio Perez. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, the engineer, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Hamilton and Carlos Sainz. Van Dorn, Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Hartley, Magnussen. They've taken a grid penalty. Leclerc, Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll, Sirotkin and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, so here we are on the grid, a lot higher than I actually thought we were going to be. P8 on the road in quali, but actually P6 on the grid because the Renaults have been dealt some engine penalties or gearbox penalties. Either way, we're moved up behind Daniel Ricciardo into P6. The strategy is going to be a one-stop, soft to medium tyres. Thankfully for me, not using the super hards, the blue wall tyre. I'd be very surprised if people use that tyre because on the Haas at least it felt horrendous in practice. But let's get into this then. From P6, this now turns into a very optimistic race for us actually as we go to 5. red lights then for the home Grand Prix for myself here at Silverstone. 26 laps ahead of us, 5 red lights are out, and we're underway for the British Grand Prix, but it's been a very shaky start, and maybe that Q2 set has really affected me there, because it's a real slow start. Hulkenberg's jumped us, and this, big kerfuffle with the Red Bull Mercedes making contact there. We punted a little bit into Ricciardo, but there's been a huge crash there. We're off circuit, trying to get back here on the proper way to do it in Village. Full safety car has been called out, so for 2 times in 3 races now has the full safety car been called out there. Had it at Austria, and now at the British Grand Prix. Let's take a look at a replay, because that went by in a flash there, and it almost was very odd, because we all got through turn 1. He was really on the exit of turn 1, where the crash happened. The Mercedes has gone wayward, and the Red Bull spews into him. It looks like the Bottas's Mercedes was already sideways, kind of half sideways, and that was just Ricciardo ploughing into him, and in doing so, I kind of nearly smashed off my front wing. But you can see, racing incident there between Bottas and the Ferrari. Bottas half spun round by the Ferrari's rear wheel. That was fine, but then, then it's just the Ricciardo's Red Bull just can't go anywhere. Verstappen got a good view, I think, and there goes Bottas, and there goes Ricciardo. Plows into it. Very silly, actually, from Ricciardo now. Twice in a row, Ricciardo's been caught up by accelerating where he just doesn't need to. He needs to be cautious at this point, but he just sends it down the inside here and smashes into his front tyre. So twice now, Ricciardo's been caught out by licking the stamp and sending it. I mean, no mailman's trying to collect that post right there, Ricciardo. I can say that. So unfortunate there for him. And Bottas pits in then ahead of us. He was ahead of us. He's pitting, so we're up into 3rd place now. We've got a 1-2 for Ferrari, and then it's the Haas Ferrari in 3rd place here, but a very cold tyres here as we get underway. Vettel bolted early. I've gone deep because the tyres are so cold, ice cold in fact, that we're going wayward in the last corner. Opposite lock twice now. You can see I'm struggling to get down the power. We've got, I think that's Verstappen right behind us, trying to maybe make a move into turn 1. You've got the Renault and the Force India very close behind. Surprise, investment. Ocon there, my rival, very close behind. So what did I say about my rival? Surprisingly gaining pace as soon as I'd chosen him as my rival, as we now battle Verstappen quite hard into Village. And you can see on the right-hand side, my tyres are stone cold blue there for a second. They're starting to wall up though as we go down this back straight towards the Luffield section. But we've got Hulkenberg right up our neck and down the inside. He's going to go, I think. Yes, he will. Hulkenberg comes in quite hot down the inside of me, and we're going wide anyway due to the front tyres. You can see there on the heads-up display, completely blue. The rears have heated up, of course, but the fronts are still trying to grip in, and due to that now, Ocon is down my inside. He's trying to out-traction me out of Luffield there, and he's got the Mercedes power engine advantage there, and you can see he's even smashing me into me straight away. Our first race as Ocon is our rival, and he's giving me a very welcoming to that rivalry there. Bit of contact, and now he's got Alonso, I think, to contend with there in the McLaren Renault. So a very chaotic start to this Grand Prix, got really chaotic. Slow down for the safety car, and then immediately as soon as the safety car comes in, it's chaos once again. But ahead of us, we've got Hulkenberg chasing after Verstappen. Let's see if we can try and close back up to Hulkenberg, and we do indeed do that on lap 7 though. It's taken us a few laps to catch back up to Hulkenberg as the tyres got the heat back into them basically on the fronts, and so now we closed up with DRS right behind him in Stowe. Can't quite make a move into Stowe, but we've got closed up enough in the mid-apex to make a move down the inside of the chicane. There on the left, gets squeezed out a little bit. Gonna have to be patient on the throttle, and I tried to make a move around the outside there. You can see Hulkenberg, to be fair, he does a really good job. He just moved his car an inch left to stop me going around the outside of the final corner. So clever driving from Nico Hulkenberg's AI car there. And now we're just going to have to stick behind him throughout Village. It's going to be very difficult to make any sort of move here at the moment. Just don't have the overwhelming momentum and pace over him at the moment. Obviously, same set of tyres there, kind of same conditions, so we don't have a pace advantage at the moment apart from the DRS there. So just have to be patient, open the DRS, and now we can maybe make the move as we go through down the straight on the right-hand side. Fade to the right, go to the left. Very nice shimmy and shake down the inside, but Hulkenberg is going to keep it on the outside. We've gone over the curbing, which has slowed us down a little bit, and Hulkenberg squirts the throttle to get down my inside. I've gone wide on purpose, try and get the switchback move gone, and we have got the power down a lot earlier than Nico there, and we go toe-to-toe again, banging tyres, front right to front left there for good measure. This is a really nice battle now with Hulkenberg. The first time we've had a real scrap with a Renault car this season, I feel, and we squeeze them out completely there. We have the inside line. It's all about who has the bigger balls there into Cops, and clearly be able to keep the throttle in there compared to him. And we've got got up the order now, up into P4, and it's going to be even further up into P3. This will be as Verstappen continues on ahead of us, and some people are making their pit stops now on lap 10. We're going to continue on now onto the end of lap 10, and now we'll come in. So one more lap, but to be fair, I think that was maybe a slight mistake because the tyres did start to go rapidly off then on lap 10. So ideally, I probably should have come in on that previous lap, but we've joined Verstappen, we've joined also a Mercedes car there of I think that must be Bottas, because Hamilton, I'm assuming, was out in the lead of the Grand Prix. So Bottas has already started to close up to us somehow. Well, actually, no, hang on. It must be I think it's Hamilton, because Bottas is way down the order. I think Hamilton obviously got caught up in the incident in lap 1 and was actually behind us anyway. So only now are the Mercedes cars maybe getting back into sight there. So quite a poor race then for the home favourite, I guess, is Hamilton. Of course, I'm a rookie in Formula 1, so I doubt I'm the home favourite here, despite me being British. Yeah, I think Hamilton's definitely the crowd pleaser, but at the moment it's been a pretty horrendous one for the man who's usually hashtag blessed. Not so much in lap 1, was it? But now we move out the pit lane, and let's see where everyone is. There we go. There's Hulkenberg, and he comes out just ahead of us there, and he's on the disgusting blue super hard tyres. What on earth are you thinking, Hulkenberg? We're round the outside. We get passed by Fernando Alonso. The wily old fox catches me napping a little bit down the inside there, and so we have lost 2 positions indeed, with the undercut working quite a wonder for the Spaniard and the German. But very surprising, Nico Hulkenberg is on blue super hards. Very, very odd choice. That's all I'll say. Now Alonso goes round the outside, and surely this is a slam dunk overtake for myself and Alonso very, very quickly, because the super hard is 2 steps down from the mediums. It goes medium hard, then super hard. So they're just very horrendous tyres. I don't know why you would bring them to this Grand Prix, to be honest. And so can we try and overtake Hulkenberg? He's still going side by side, to be fair to him, with Alonso in top. So the move is not done there. So I don't know, maybe the Renault just leans on its tyres so much that the super hards actually work out for the banana car here. And now we're trying to make a move on Alonso there, almost side by side in the middle of Maggins and Beckett. So we're going to have to be patient though, have DRS there, but we're probably just going to sit here with a bucket of popcorn and watch Alonso battle Hulkenberg once again. We're just being patient here. But the toe's been so good here that we closed right up to Hulkenberg's rear end, took avoiding action, going a little bit wide on purpose, and then, oh my god, what a save there. Complete opposite lock in the car, and even after that save, we go down the inside and have the confidence with the car to make a move on Hulkenberg there. But I think you need to watch that back to really understand what kind of crazy save that was. Completely opposite lock, mid-corner, 5th gear, plant the power, had to lift off completely, turn the wheel completely left into a right-hander to save that car, and then straight after the save, I go and overtake Hulkenberg, and then immediately now, on the very next lap, that is, I think, on lap 13, again, having some issues with the traction there off the back of Stowe. We've overtaken Fernando Alonso, but Alonso is going to come back at us then on lap 14, so that was lap 13 previously, and so he sent it down the inside there. We're going to try and go the long way around here on the left-hander, but we get squeezed out, pretty much run out of road and run out of grip there, get on the curbing, and then Alonso parks at the apex of left field there and slows us down. And so now we have, actually it's not a Hulkenberg, it's the Mercedes then of Lewis Hamilton coming back into this Grand Prix after that bad turn 1 on lap 1 here. Down the inside of Copse there. We're going to actually try and fight him on the exit over the curbing. We'll keep our foot in there. We're on overtake mode on the ERS. And now into Maggett and Beckett side by side. We found the grip somehow on the outside. Somehow kept the car under control there as we got on the curbing momentarily. And somehow we're still ahead of Hamilton. I'm trying my best to keep ahead of him. But I think eventually it's going to be a futile effort, because surely he's going to have it. But for now, the DRS of Alonso helps me out there to keep ahead. But now we move back to the exact same section on the very next lap, and Hamilton now is going to have the pace, and we don't really have the fuel to burn. So you can see there in standard, and I'm in minus fuel. Hamilton down the inside, second time of asking, he bumps us a little bit there, and so he gets the elbows out and he's able to overtake us. To be fair, I think that was always inevitable. And also the hope is, though, to be fair, is that he overtakes Alonso, and then as soon as he overtakes Alonso, I can overtake him as well. So really, he might help me out in the end. You know, he's not our fight. We need to pick our battles. We're not fighting him today. We're fighting this man, Alonso, who has indeed lost a lot of time. And so into Village, down the inside we go. The crowd on the left screaming away as they're seeing Alonso go side by side with myself. Round the outside we go of the left-hander. Don't have the grip. Once again, the long way around is not the way around for us. The Haas just doesn't have the mid-corner grip, but we've got DRS as well as Alonso does. And so we're down the inside. And Hulkenberg's coming out of nowhere. He's sent it down the inside. sudden, it's 3 wide now, and we're trying to feather the throttle, trying to just tactically tiptoe around. Look at this, all 3 of us trying to just tiptoe, give each other room, and it's just absolute like coordinated dancing almost here on track here between us 3. We're on the left now, Alonso's in the middle, and Hulkenberg now will move to the inside. It's still 3 wide almost, but into Copse, round the outside we go, and we've got it on the outside, and now Alonso and Hulkenberg will simply do battle there, and we can go about our business. But that was some kind of sequence of corners there, absolutely awesome. Hulkenberg, myself and Alonso, 3 midfield cars, 3 wide for, what was that, like a couple of corners and some straights. Absolutely awesome action there. And we've got a really nice replay here from the helicopter shot here. Perfect timing on the helicopter shot here. As Hulkenberg now closes up, you can see me and Alonso already side by side. Hulkenberg just sends it completely there, and you can see I go deep and make a little bit of contact with Alonso, and then here it's just beautiful. Literally all 3 of us are just tapping our throttle pedals, trying and suss out when we can plant the power, but also at the same time making sure we don't make contact with each other. Then we move to the left hand side. Hulkenberg here then makes a very bold move right from the left to the right hand side of the track here, looking on towards the cars, and then round the outside we go as Alonso and Hulkenberg continue to fight then as they go into Magnus and Beckett. I think they're still side by side. Yes, they are still neck and neck there. So Alonso is really wringing the neck out of the McLaren, because the Van Dorn is nowhere here in this Grand Prix so far. And still, I'm still amazed, to be honest, the Renault is actually going this well on super hard tyres. Like, they really felt like they were just absolutely stone cold even after like 5-6 laps in practice. So I don't know what on earth the Renaults have been like, you know, I don't know what their engineers are thinking or what they've concocted in that car of theirs, but for some reason that car is working very well with 2 parts, and clearly because now Sainz is the one behind us, and no longer even Hulkenberg. Sainz has not only overtaken Alonso, he's overtaken his teammate as well, and so the Spaniard in the Renault is now the one behind us and actually closing us down here. And you can see on the bottom right there, only now we're going into high, trying to tactically play this bit of long game here, trying to, you know, play around with Sainz, you know, make sure we have the ERS deployment for the end of the lap, because that's where I'm strongest really, is off the run of Magnus and Beckett's into Stowe. That's where I find the most time, I find, with the ERS there. So Sainz has overtaken us, but it's fine. Keep it calm, because I know we can re-overtake him here. We've got DRS up towards Stowe. We've got the deployment there. We've got plenty of battery power, and so we go to the left-hand side. It's going to be a very, very nice, easy move on Carlos Sainz. I say that, though, actually, to be fair, he's got a lot of straight-line speed there, but we just about make it there into the brake zone. Nice and easy. Little bit wide into Stowe, and actually Sainz might have another go, so we have to go defensive there, so it's not been the best corner into Stowe there, and so defensive into the chicane, wide on purpose there, cuts across the racing line, and now Hulkenberg is now side by side with Sainz, I feel, I think, because on the top left it's Hulkenberg now behind us, so I think both of them are doing battle, and Hulkenberg has actually got ahead of his teammate there. So you can see I'm doing a lot of defensive work here, but we've only got a couple laps left of this Grand, and we need to play these last 1.5 laps pretty much very, very tactically, because I've pretty much got no electrical battery there on the bottom right. We've gone down to none on the deployment, so I'm going to be a sitting duck on the straight right now, and Sainz, here he comes very, very quick into Copse. We managed to stay ahead. He doesn't have quite enough speed to get us there, but into Maggots, it might be a slam dunk move there for not only the Renault, but also Magnussen down the inside. Yes, so it's 3 wide, and K-Mag sent it down the inside out of nowhere. We've hardly seen Magnussen this race, but he's made it 3 wide there momentarily. It was Magnussen on the inside in the middle, and Sainz was trying to go the long way around on the right hand side there. You can see only now can I put it up into any kind of higher ERS mode there, as we saved a lot of battery in Magnus and Beckett, but we need to save even more now, so we're back down to none on the ERS deployment. Meanwhile, Sainz and Magnussen still going toe to toe, and all this while that's going to help me out trying to save some battery here as we go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. But let's take a look at the replay, because you really couldn't tell how side by side we were, but here we go, a really nice shot there, literally 3 abreast right into the apex as we enter Maggot. Absolutely awesome there. Magnussen just absolutely just went for it there. He's not really been in this race this entire time, but now he's turning up when it matters on the last lap of the Grand Prix. This is nice and patient. Now trust me, we're going to let him by here. We're going to go down to a bit of a lower ERS mode, medium there. Also save some fuel. We're going to go to low ERS. He's going to go by. That's fine. We can let him go. He's got DRS right now. We'll try and go around the outside there. If we can keep ahead of him, that'd be good. If not, doesn't matter. We make a little bit of contact, so Magnussen actually chops across our racing line. That's fine, Kevin. You can do that, because I've got a plan here. We've got ERS now. You can see we've got half a bar left, and so that is the half bar I need for the back straight towards Stowe. So Magnussen thinks, oh, I've overtaken my teammate, looking really good, but little did he know I played this very, very tactically, okay? I've been studying the Silverstone lap here. I've got the textbook out pretty much. I've figured out, I've ran the numbers in my own cockpit. I don't need the engineers. I know where to deploy the ERS, and it is here at the runoff towards Stowe. DRS open, overtake mode on the ERS, just standard mixture because I don't have the fuel to burn. But here we go, down the inside, pounce down the inside of Stowe, hit the apex, nice and easy there. Still overtake mode on the exit, and so we'll go defensive into the chicane. Magnussen can try all it wants on around the outside, but we're going to have it on the apex there. Plant it there, and we're going to be up into P5, and that's going to be P5 to end it off at the British Grand Prix. Get in there.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So I'd say pretty good day in the office here at the home Grand Prix. P5 ahead of our teammate. You know, exciting race. Definitely a very exciting race. You know, 2-3 wide moments that were definitely thumbnail worthy for the video to choose from there. And yeah, very, very good. And now we are now ahead by 1 measly point to Magnussen. That is fantastic. You know, we're nearly about halfway through the season now. We're ahead of Red Bull with Haas, but I am only 1 point ahead of my teammate. It's so refreshing. I've said it so many times now. I've used that word to death, but it is so refreshing to see him give me a good fight.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Right, interview time. Here we go.
That was a close finish. How are things between the two of you?
I want to say on the left-hand side, heated, but it was a very good fight, very, very good fight in the last 2 laps there with him.
You made quite a lot of contact with the other drivers. Was this deliberate?
Didn't really know which way to go about this, but I'm going to go with the right-hand side answer. As the car wore, it lost some grip. I thought it meant tyre wear, but it actually meant in terms of durability it wore, but there you go.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Because technically, when the tyres start to go off, it definitely did kind of lose a bit of grip, but clearly they meant kind of the durability of it. Either way, we kind of boost the morale there, or maybe decrease the morale of the durability department. Unfortunately, we do not get, I don't think, the bonus there on our contract perk, because obviously we negotiated a much higher perk there, so I think it was finishing 4th, we finished in 5th, so we weren't too far off, but yeah, like I said, it's so good to see Magnussen fighting me so hard. At this stage of the season, usually in career modes in the past, my teammate is nowhere. I'm the one completely carrying the team 2/3 majority of the points here. But the fact that we're 1 point difference after 10 rounds is fantastic. So the second half of this season is going to be equally just so good to see how it works out. But obviously, you saw there, I upgraded another minor chassis weight reduction. We're going the whole hog on weight reduction because, in my opinion, it really is the way to go. But at the same time, we've got the points to spend. So I think I'm also going to go for a major upgrade on the rear downforce. You know, allows us to step the rear wing set up even lower with more rear downforce. So we've got 2 upgrades there, a major and a minor to look forward to in the coming races. But guys, if you have enjoyed, it was a really fantastic British Grand Prix. Hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula content. I've been aarava. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.